All right. Hope everyone is doing well. This was not planned. I'll say that for sure. But we do have some information. I did say I'd be waiting until I saw what the basis of allotment look like for TransJamaica before I do another video. And we do have some clues to that. Therefore, this is the other video. So I'm going to share my screen here and go right into the details. So Kenton from our community would have shared this, and let me just bring that up on screen here. So the budget was read by Prime Minister Andrew Holness today, and so it says here that half of a sale has been over subscribed with 22,000 applications totaling over $12 billion, right? And we know they were trying to raise 9 billion. And so that's good news, right? That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to see. And of course, they're making reference here to the fact that the IPO raised 14.1 billion. So you know, hope you saw that where the IPO was able to raise 14.1 billion, and then 5 years later, 20% raised 12 billion, right? So really showing you the magnitude of what they've been able to do with this company. And so the very first thing that comes up, of course, is this discussion about how will the shares be allocated. So to do that, we have to go to the prospectus, right? So I'm going straight to the basis of allotment. So it says here, all applications will be processed on a first come, first served basis. If the offer is oversubscribed, which it is in this case, they reserve the right to allot the sale shares to applicants in consultation with the lead broker. So I want everybody to catch this because this is going to be important here, on a basis to be determined, including on a pro rata basis, and to ensure a fair and equitable allocation with an emphasis on wide distribution of sale of shares, right? So this is the important part, right? Emphasis on wide distribution, which means to me, or it says to me, that they're going to try and accommodate as many persons as possible, which means those who applied for a certain number of shares, those who come in applying for 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 50 million shares, those persons aren't going to get the preference here. It's the persons who applied for 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000. Those are the persons likely to get preference here based on what this says to me. I'm also going to be looking at their basis of allotment for the IPO, because if you notice, the funds here are actually, well, the amount being raised is similar, right? I don't remember how much they were going for to IPO. I should probably check that part. But I was thinking that I would look at the basis of allotment for the IPO as sort of a guide, right? Because same lead broker, same over subscription process here. So let me just confirm that. Let me see how much they tried to raise at IPO. I just want to remember the amount that they were trying to raise, because the amount that they were trying to raise will tell me how likely it's going to be similar to what happens here, right? So that 8 billion ordinary shares at $1.41 with the right to upsize. So 10 billion here, and it was underwritten about 80%, right? And I believe they got 14 billion, right? So they tried to raise a total of 10. 14 billion, I think, was the amount that they raised. And so based on this, we can get some idea as to how they're likely to do the basis of allotment for this. So for the IPO, it was done on a bottom-up basis, which again, I think it's likely to be how they do it this time, because it's only logical, right? Because for the IPO, they wanted to ensure that a lot of persons got what they were hoping for. So you make more people happy, right? So for the IPO, they did 10,000 first 10,000 units, and up to, it says, and applications in excess of 10,000 shares were allotted, up to a further 10,000 shares, and so on until all the shares were allotted. You notice this doesn't have a percentage. And as I said, I do remember for the IPO, I applied for 500,000 shares, and I got my 500,000 shares for IPO. So, I mean, it's not the same number of shares here, 10 billion shares versus 2.5 billion. But, you know, it's, to me, I think if you applied for less than 100,000 shares, you're likely to get all of it. In my opinion, for those who applied for more than that, that's where it may get tricky. And I should probably ask persons who did the IPO how much they got, for those who applied for large amounts, right? But as well, this article was done by IC Insider, pretty much saying the same things that we already know. So the point that I'm bringing up this article for is this part, right? So IC Insider is making the point, which is a valid one, that the result is that over 3 billion will be available to come into the secondary market when refunds are made. And this is a perspective I never thought about before, because when persons apply, they would have taken money from savings, maybe they borrowed it, who knows, they sold their shares, whatever. But that money is going to your refund account. So a good chunk of this 3 billion is going to try and find its way back into the market. So persons who sold stocks, if they're happy with their allocation, great. They may not be compelled to buy anymore, but if they're not, they may be very well compelled to buying more with their shares. And so so the refunds will be sent within 10 business days of the closing date. So since it closed on Tuesday, 10 business days puts us at the 1st of April, right? So the 1st of April is what they'd be looking at. And let me do instrument summary here. So I'm just going to the dividend declaration here, because the dates that you need to be mindful of. Payment will be made to shareholders on record as of the close of business April 3rd, right? Which means persons, so let's say the refunds go for the 10 days, right? That's April 1st. You still have an opportunity to purchase your shares in time for the dividend, right? So persons could very well be investing that money to ensure that they get their dividend. So it actually bodes well for the stock price to actually, well, it's actually at $4.12 already. So it passed 4 once the dividend was announced, right? So and there are persons, for example, who, I saw this one person saying, you know, how we know they're going to pay another dividend. I don't think that person was following TransJamaican at all here, right? But we've been seeing where, since dividend declaration came out Monday, you see it's closed higher every day since, right? So it's actually heading up. The average price going up each day. So today it ended at 412, which is awesome. Certainly that's what you love to see, right? Because the benefit here is that, imagine this is your first purchase on the market, and you purchase a stock and you're up. Let me calculate the percentage here. So 412 is what? 52 cents divided by 360. You're up 15% already, right? 14.44%. You're up, and the stock is not, like, you not have gotten your shares yet. So I do have an expectation as to where the price may be. But of course, I'm not going to say it on this platform because I don't make it a habit to do price predictions publicly. But I will certainly be talking about it in our challenge community because we have a stock review coming up this week. So I'll be, talking about it there, of course. Right. So that's the first part. Let me just see comments. I saw some comments right here before I joined. Looking at TJH and feeling nothing but joy. I've gotten 3 potential plays regarding TransJamaica, each equal. Well, multiple ways. But yeah, to each his own, I'll say. Did they announce it? So they have not announced the allotment, Shells, but I got the information I needed to do this video, right? Because the amount, the number of applications, and the description within the prospectus tells me everything I need to know, right? So I already have an expectation of the allocations I'll get, and I applied using 4 accounts. So I'm doing the math to see how that will work out for me based on the number of shares I applied for in those different accounts. Now I do think I'll be getting up to the first 100,000 shares. Every account I applied with, it was more than 100,000. So I'm waiting to see how that works out. But at the very least, I think I'll be able to increase my position quite comfortably, and then we go from there, right? So Jermaine said he wouldn't do well. I addressed this one already. Garfield, what is up is that we got some new information today, and we're just talking about it here, right? It's either the allotment or he just can't stay away. I mean, there's a lot more that I want to talk about, but there are 87 persons here because I'm talking about TransJamaica. If I was talking about something else, I don't know if 87 persons would be here, right? This comment, I'm gonna frame it, Shells. I think this was funny. This was funny. Let me see anything else. Jermaine is fast asleep. I never go to bed early. Just bear that in mind. So Tavares is saying refunds can be used to buy more shares on the market. Absolutely. And people are going to buy more. I have my theories on that, right? Because here's the thing. There are other things to talk about. There are other offers that are coming out. So it depends, because by the time those funds hit the market, there's a Barita bond out right now. There may be another offer out on the market around that time. So it depends. So if the offer comes out, we will see what that means for how persons want to redirect their capital, right? 4 out of the 2,200 is Jermaine's account. And I did not include my wife, my son. My son has a brokerage account. My wife has 3 or 4 brokerage accounts. My sisters have, my father, everybody, right? Yeah. So, yeah, right. Waiting on the new offer, Jeffrey. So yeah, so I mean, I saw it as well. Shells. Nothing against Barita, right? Absolutely love the company. Personally, bonds aren't for me. Now, I don't know if my community will ask me to cover it. If they do, I will. But I think for the educated investor, a bond has a place in your portfolio. But in this climate, I think it's a great opportunity to, instead of a bond, to look for something that gives you both. Because remember, a bond is fixed income, right? That's my only thing, right? If you're looking for fixed income, go with a bond. Remember, I did a video that says the best stocks give you both, right? So the best stocks give you capital gains and dividends. So I recommend that persons invest for both, right? So nothing against the bonds. I think bonds have their places, but as an educated investor, which everybody watching this video is an educated investor, bonds should not be your first preference. You go with a bond if it is that you're prioritizing income and you have enough capital base to give you the income you're looking for. That's it, right? So it's simple. You look at the rate, you look at the capital you have. If that income works for you, go right ahead. If it doesn't work for you, then a bond would not make sense. And I think it's really that simple, right? I would actually say more than that, Sean, because if you invest $1 million, you're getting 100,000 per year. The question you should ask yourself, what can you do with 100,000 per year? Because if you invest $1 million wisely, you should likely get more than that 10% per year. Now, for somebody with if somebody has 15 million, 20 million, 30 million, 10% on 30 million per year is 3 million. 3 million is what some people get paid per year, right? That's reasonable income. But 100,000, 200,000 may not move the needle for your capital, because we have to think about the return on investment. 10% a year means you're going to double your money in 10 years. Again, that may work for some persons, but if your net worth is below a certain amount, 10% of a return on your capital would not move the needle towards wealth for you, right? So yeah, so there's a reason why bonds typically had a higher entry price, because it's just recently, it's really, I think with the Mayberry bond that we saw bonds doing like a 10,000 minimum, right? Before, bonds used to be minimum of like 100,000 or minimum $1 million, or some I've seen minimum 10 million, because they understand and appreciate it's being marketed to a certain net worth. And that's what you have to appreciate, because not every offer that comes out on the market is for you. Not every offer is for the average investor. Not every offer is for the retail investor. The company is not going to discriminate when they're raising their capital. If you're giving them their money, they will take it. But certain offers are predisposed to a certain type of investor, to a certain net worth of investor. And so you have to invest accordingly, right? So, so as Tamara is saying, sitting on a stock also won't move the needle towards wealth. Exactly true, right? So this idea of buying once and then waiting for wealth doesn't work either, right? So persons who are just, if you're watching this now and TransJamaica offer for sale was your first purchase, whatever amount you bought, regardless of the amount, don't think you can buy it once and wait 10 years and be wealthy. It doesn't matter the amount that you bought. Even if you bought 1 million shares and got the million, don't think in 10 years, even if that price is now $10 or $15, that's still not going to be wealth 10 years from now. 10 years from now, everything that we have will be so overinflated in value that it's gonna again require a certain amount of net worth for you to be able to be considered wealthy, right? Sean say, please get back on track with TransJamaica. We don't talk about TransJamaica enough. Absolutely. Marcus says, my boss told me this. Okay, all right. So let me see here. I'm gonna actually check on a couple of things here. So another thing that I've been noticing, and I want you guys to tell me if you see this as well, right? We knew about the that's a lot of volume, right? So you noticed that when we heard about, when did the prospectus come out? I think here, right? You can tell the dip in price. What I've been noticing is that you're still seeing good volume here. Well, not good. Oh, well, not much actually. Never mind that. I thought it was more. So the 1 million to 2 million. So I was wondering what persons were thinking about when purchasing here. And the more I thought about it, I said, well, 370 is actually not a good price, is actually a good price to still buy. Because one, you ensure that you get your full, whatever you place an order for, you will get, right? So for example, let's say somebody had $4 million or $5 million to invest. If you apply through the offer for sale, know that it's oversubscribed. You're not guaranteed to get all of what you applied for, but if you applied on the open market, you get all you applied for, and then these persons would have bought here are already in profit, right? So these persons here are up at least 10%, and I did the math, about 14%. So those who thought about it, purchased here, will have their guaranteed amount. They might have paid slightly higher, but they don't have any risk of not getting their full allocation or having to worry about a refund. And now they're up 10-15%. They're going to likely get their dividends. They're likely going to experience capital gains in the short term as well. So this is making the point to me, and I hope that persons see this. And I'll definitely talk about this more in the next challenge meeting, is that there are times when you don't have to obsess about a low price. I think sometimes people feel like you have to buy at the lowest price possible. That's not always the case. And there are many ways to go about it. And so kudos to those who kept buying, because those who bought here are feeling very happy right now, right? And I talk about this in a challenge all the time, right? So those in the challenge, this should not be new for you. This is not the first time you're hearing this. So you should be good. And let me see here, just checking if I have any questions. Okay, I think that's it. So let me check as well what the price looked like, what the trading looked like today. That's what I'm gonna check. Ooh, I love to see this. I'm looking, I've logged into my portfolio and I'm seeing some good gains here. Because of course I did not, so persons were wondering, for example, whether or not it made sense to sell their shares. I was one of those persons who didn't think that made sense. So I kept my shares. So, and my average price is well below $3. So I'm good with it going back up. But I'm not seeing this. When did JMB stop doing the last trades? That's not cool. It's not 12 o'clock yet. Usually it resets at 12. So I was hoping to see the trades for today, but that's fine. Well, so I don't need to use that then. But there was someone who had a concern. Let me check the group. There's somebody who had a concern about TransJamaican. Let me find it. Check JP's queue on oh, it resets at 10. I thought it was 12. When did that change? Oh, okay, interesting. I thought it was 12. There's somebody who had a concern about TransJamaican. I'm not finding it. Samuel, I think his name is. Samuel, if you're here, find the post for me. He was sharing something about TransJamaican and the directors and shares. He was concerned about that. I don't remember what it was. Samuel, find it if you're here. Just let me know. All right. So do you guys have any questions for me? I can wrap this up shortly. But if the allotment comes after dividends, no, the allotment won't come after dividends. The allotment will come before. You have to know the dates here, Shells, right? So those who did the offer, it's 10 days after. 10 days come before the dividend X date, and I think that was all intentional, right? So they wanted to be sure that there's not going to be anything that prevents those who applied for the offer to get a dividend, right? What's up with the 36 trillion? I don't know what you're talking about there. So those who purchased, well, those who sold to purchase in the offer, yeah, April 3rd is the ex-dividend date. Let me find it. Yeah, April 3rd is the ex-dividend date. So the refunds are scheduled for 10 days. Guys, 10 days, 10 business days, right? 10 business days. So 10 business days, I can't bring up a calendar here, but we have to count it from Tuesday the 18th. From Tuesday the 18th, 10 business days puts us at April 1st. All right. So that's how it is. So the allotment should come before the ex-dividend date. All right. So you guys have to pay attention to that. All right. And then the payment comes on the 24th. All right. Yeah. All right. So hopefully that's clear for everybody. So, Chef, there are two groups. There is the main community group. So this is our free community group. You can join with the link in the description of this video, right? So look in the description of the video, you'll see the link. And we're having a meetup actually tomorrow. I didn't remember that. We're having a community meetup tomorrow. So you can join on the platform. We're starting at 7 p.m. You can join the community, RSVP for the meetup. Persons have always asked if it can be added to your calendar. This platform allows you to do that. And we'll talk about a lot of things, I'm sure, tomorrow. And the meetups are actually recorded as well, right? So if you miss it live, you can check out the recording, but the recording stays up for, I think, 60 days. Then I make room for others, because the truth is persons don't watch it past a certain date. That's what I've noticed. And then of course we have the challenge community that meets up as well, Chef, that you can be a part of. So the challenge community is separate. That's this group that you see here. We issue challenges, we do stock reviews, we have a monthly call. I'll share any resources and links with the challenge community. And if you want to become a member of the challenge community, join the main community, go to memberships, and you can join the challenge community for $50 a month. Or you can join for the entire year, right? It's completely up to you. And if you want to take the next step and you're interested in being coached, I have one-on-one investment coaching here. Also have business coaching. So if you are in business, whether full-time or part-time, and you want coaching and guidance on the business side as well, I can help you there. If you want one-on-one consultation, that's $100 US. So all the prices are there for you to be able to access. And final thing I'll show you is that we have challenges that you can complete. So different challenges to win points, be a part of our leaderboard, get prizes. So these are the rock stars pretty much of our community. And what else? The last thing would be announcements, right? So whenever I'm going live, I'm typically going to announce it here, share the link so you can see it. So just in case your YouTube notifications don't come on, you can see it here. All right. So it has the last few announcements that was made. And yeah, everything is, I love this platform, by the way. I think it's been serving our community well, certainly better than Telegram in terms of what it gives us. Yardi, it is not. not first come, first serve. That was addressed as well. I'm going to share it again briefly. It says here, all applications are processed on first come, serve basis. If, and if you do programming, you know this if is important. If is a conditional statement. So if the offer is oversubscribed, then they reserve the right to allot the shares to applicants in consultation with the lead broker on a basis to be determined. So what this is saying is that they can forego the first come, first serve, and then allocate it whenever they think is best. All right. So Jermaine, it didn't seem like it made sense to sell to you because you didn't expect the price to fall. Oh no, I certainly expected the price to fall. But my focus was elsewhere. That's one. There was another stock that had my priority at the time. And two, I was also concerned about my allotment, right? Because I applied with the amount that I applied with. So I had my target units already for TransJamaica. Once I have my target units, I didn't need to worry about selling. I do take profit when the time comes, and I do rebuy at a lower price when the time comes. But this offer presented an opportunity for me to increase my current allocation. So I focused on that. And I don't get the opportunity to invest in the same way, right? So I didn't know if with work, because I don't know if you guys know, but I do work 9 to 5, and I work with LGI, and I have some other stuff going on. So I didn't want to risk that I would not have been able to get back at least my target units, because I'd already taken profit at $4.80. I wasn't too concerned about selling to buy back lower. I'd prefer in some cases to just lower my average price and work with that. But I don't always take the chance to sell even though I know the price is going lower. Sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I don't. It really just didn't appeal to me at that time, right? It didn't make sense for me. Let me say it that way. But for those who did, great. But it was neither here nor there for me. Let me just see a message here. Oh, cool. Okay. So Charlene just joined. Welcome. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Rosewell. Yes, I am live. I've been following your page for a while and I want to learn more about the stock market. So if you want to learn, there are a couple of ways. Again, as I mentioned, videos are here on YouTube, over 400. Check them out. If you want to go a little bit deeper, then the challenge is certainly the option to go with. And if you want to take it even further, let's say you want one-on-one support, then one-on-one coaching is the thing to go with. My coaching clients are very happy right now. Let's just say that, right? We've been making some good progress with their portfolio. Tavares, but why didn't it make sense? You're talking about what I was saying. It's a personal thing, right? And I think I explained it. So hopefully my responses were clear. Yeah, well, it's just how the dates work out, but I'm very confident in the allocations being done. I'm confident in NCB's ability to process it. I'm confident in JMMB and Sagicor to do their thing. So yeah. All right. So you still have to manage how much percentage? No, actually, I don't have to anymore. I don't have to anymore. My exactly so. All right. Isn't buying this offer makes your average price higher if you bought shares from the IPO? It would make your average price higher, Island boy. But again, sir, I don't know if you joined the live at the start. Buying a stock once is not enough for you to build wealth. So even if you bought 1,000,000 shares at IPO, I'm making the point that do not obsess about having a low price. If you obsess about having a low price, you miss the opportunity to make more money, right? And again, I'll talk about this more in the challenge community, but there's a way to really look at your investment strategy. Having it centered around price is not the best thing to look at. That's not the best investment strategy, in my opinion. All right. Any expectations of a sell-off after X date? Maybe not. If you're in the challenge, I'll talk to you about that, sir. Some people bought at 480, sure, just like some people bought Fesco at $8.49. Some people bought, I think at one point Dolphin Cove was at $30. Some people bought NCB at $235. Some people bought Palace at $3,200. I mean, there's always somebody on the other side of the sale. there's always somebody on the other side of the sale, right? Exactly. Marco, you sound like a smart investor, right? I think that's it, right? So there are a couple of things coming out, guys, and I can't cover them all, but there are, I believe I heard that the tropical APO is coming out. I believe we saw where we might have an offer by ISP. I think everybody is expecting something from Dollar in terms of the Ultra spin-off this year. We may or may not see RPL raise additional funds depending on where things go for them this year. Who else? I think Energy said they're raising funds. We mentioned Tropical already. Who am I missing? So a company that I'm missing. I think NCB may be raising funds as well. Key Insurance, Key Insurance is being taken over by GK, right? I'm talking about existing companies. So yeah. So Dolphin Cove is yet to pay a dividend. Yes, absolutely, right? Hey Raquel, yes, Key is delisting. So Raquel, how come you don't ask persons to like the video here? You only do that for taking stock, Raquel? Oh yeah, man, for sure. I saw that as well, another gamer bro. So I'm waiting for March 31st for Dolphin Cove because that's the date that they mentioned that their audited will be out by, right? So that's what I'm waiting for to see what the numbers look like for 2024, because that will tell me whether or not they're able to pay a dividend for this year or not. Jamaica Mortgage Bank is coming out and others, right? I notice I haven't seen a basis of allotment for Atlantic all now, by the way. I have to, Raquel. I have to. Raquel is always in the chat telling persons to like. And I mean, I just, saying, I noticed these things. Great info. I'm sorry I did not buy when it was 372. I will just hope to get all I wanted. Well, it depends on how much you applied for. So, or we'll say different strokes. Tropical is in 30 days. Yeah, I saw that. Poor Dolphin Cove shareholders. I wouldn't be so quick to say that, Sean. No, don't feel sorry for Dolphin Cove shareholders. Yeah, I think I covered that. John, I hope you're talking John from the investment challenge. John is happy. John took my advice. John bought 3 stocks with his $100,000. And I also spoke to John about the offer for sale, and John is happy. right? Thank you, Raquel, right? So I was hoping you had mentioned Atlantic. What do I think about Atlantic? I'm waiting for the basis of allotment to come out. I suspect that persons will get a good chunk. I believe it will be oversubscribed, right? Based on the amount that they were trying to raise. So my guess is persons will get, I'm thinking of something like a 20,000, 30,000 minimum, and probably like 30 to 40% of the excess. That's my expectation, right? I could be wrong, and we'll see. And it should be announced any day now because it closed before TransJamaica, and I believe it's 10 days, right? Yeah, right. Can you explain the offer for key insurance? Let me see if somebody covered it in our community here. I mean, it's a takeover, right? So my understanding of it is that GK is purchasing the remaining shares, and so because they're purchasing more shares, there's a minimum to which shares need to be available on the market. They're gonna purchase the shares, which means that minimum goes away, which means they have no choice but to delist the company. All right. So I think it will be oversubscribed. I think it will be oversubscribed, not by much, but I think it will be oversubscribed because it was 100 million. That's not much. That's not much. Buying undervalued companies is good. We still want to get a discount because if we buy a great company high, remember KW trading at 80, now it's at 27. I see what you're saying, but I'm not sure if I fully agree, meaning I don't necessarily say blanket buy undervalued companies because a lot of companies are undervalued that aren't going to go anywhere. I promise you that. So I can't just say buy undervalued. That's not the only thing I'm looking for. The allotment is 8 days from now. What do you think 1,000 units on Trans-Jamaica Highway? Chef, I don't know what you're asking me, sir. Send me a DM if you join the platform and we can talk about it. So $2.70. When is the next Stocks to Watch episode? That would be next week, Wednesday. So price is definitely not everything. For those of you waiting for price, like I'll see persons in the queue. So recently I'm looking at the queue for a stock, and the price was there, and investors had, let's say the price was $30, and I saw a price like $28.50 or $28.80, and that order is just there sitting in the queue, and the price moved. So I saw the price at $30 and I bought at the 30, and the price is now 35.40. That person who put the price for 28.80 is probably still waiting on their order while I was able to get in at the price that it was being offered that I thought was reasonable, and I would have been able to make some money on what I invested already while that person is still there waiting for the 28.80. If you wait on price only, that's a setup, I think. You think it's ambitious to wait for TransJamaica to reach at least $8? I load the TransJamaica boat and I'm waiting on $8 minimum or $10 maximum to sell. I can't answer that for you here. If we're doing a one-on-one consultation, I would give you a different, I'd be able to answer that, meaning there are reasons to wait and there are reasons not to wait, depending on how you look at it. So I'll just say yes and no as a short answer to that. So Stocks to Watch is next week. Let me see if I can remember my stocks to watch. Do I remember my stocks to watch? One sec, I'm just looking for some videos here. Oh wow, you know I have videos here, guys, that I have not released. I'm so sorry. I did an interview with a CEO that I did not release. Okay. Where did I put this thing here? Dividend stocks to watch 2025. Okay. So my stocks to watch, let me recap my stocks to watch for you guys, right? So my first stock to watch was Mailpack. Yeah, Mailpack was the first one. Next one was Dollar Financial. It's still a stock to watch for me, by the way, because I think the price is lower, right? So it has remained on my watch list. Apex, this price is interesting because I think Apex is definitely undervalued at current prices. I think the last time I saw the price was $1.20. Remember, I did say being undervalued is not the only metric. I stand by that. Jamaica Broilers was stock number 4. Kingston Wharfs, and I hope you guys saw the budget today about that expansion coming for Kingston Wharfs. That's a part of the reason why it's on my watch list here. And number 6 was, I think everybody kind of, expected this one. So these were my stocks to watch coming into this year, and I'm going to be giving an update on them next week. There are a few that have come off of my watch list and a few that have been added. So I'm going to be talking about that next week. I'm hoping to have somebody join me, but I'm not sure yet. So it may just be me. And we just, yeah, I did this at the start of the year, Tavares. This was an episode I did in January. So I'm just showing you what my stocks to watch were at the start of the year. Why would anyone want to suffer so much loss on a company stock price without knowing when it may reach back to its value? I'm not sure what you're referring to here. What did I say to make you say what you are saying now? Let me know. Well, I can give you guys a preview from now. NCB is now on my watch list. So I'll give you guys that in advance, right? This is certainly, we're getting to price levels that the dividend yield may be too compelling to ignore, right? It's $42 now. That dividend yield is above 4%. If it touches 5%, maybe even 6%, it's, I mean, who knows? Who knows, right? So, yeah. But of course, the trading history has me concerned, absolutely. And so, but it's, man, I'm gonna go through this, right? I'm gonna go through this because the price, again, price is not the only thing that I'm looking at, right? Price is not the only thing I'm looking at. All right. So I think we're talking about key. I'm so sorry, by the way. Somebody was asking about key. So let me see if I can read the circular because I never did. Let me see how many pages. 23 pages. I can't read this now. I can't read 23 pages now. But I'll just read this first page here. So it says, please find and close a takeover bid circular pursuant to which we hereby offer to purchase 100% of the issued share capital at a price of $2.70 per share, subject to the terms. The offer will open for acceptance 9 a.m. on March 24th and will close April 22nd. The offer may be accepted by completing the form. And so, of course, your price, let me see how much Key is trading for right now. Key is trading for 261. They released this on, what's the date on this? Date on this is March 17th. It was trading at $2.16 on March 17th. They're offering $2.70, right? So naturally, the price will go up to meet that. So if you are a shareholder here, you have some upside, of course, right? So there you go. But of course, if it passes the 270, those who have shares may just sell, because of course they're going to be giving you 270 for it. I remember which other company did this. Was it RJR? There's something, some share conversion thing, right? I don't remember, right? Let's see. You're right. Let's see. It is an offer. The offer can be refused, right? The offer can be refused. So that's certainly within their right. And it's 149 million shares. Okay. So I mean, I'm not a shareholder. I'd love to see. Well, I don't necessarily like the idea of a company delisting, but because we don't have enough stocks as it is, I would say. But I mean, good for them. I'm not sure I'd want an insurance company in my portfolio right now, honestly. So yes, it was 1834 investments. Yes, right. T-Tech also delisted. Imagine NCB at 28. Keep imagining, because this same thing is what I was saying before. If you keep price watching, and if it's at $42, you'll be like you're waiting for 28. 28 may never come. It may go to 30 and then go back the other way. So you can't just look at the price, right? Okay, yeah. All right. So I think that's it, right? Yeah, so it is up to each person if they want to keep their shares or not. That's a personal decision. Speak to your licensed financial advisor before making any investment decision. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. Any TransJamaica questions, feel free to ask them now. I'm here for another few minutes, and I completely forgot to talk about my upcoming conference, right? So I'm taking the opportunity to tell as many persons as I can. We have our conference coming up in a couple of weeks, under 3 weeks. So I was saying to persons, feel free to use your TransJamaica dividends and purchase your tickets, right? So if you're worried about whether or not you can afford it, you have some dividends coming your way, right? So feel free, and the pitch competition ends, the submission for it ends tomorrow, right? So March 31st, so the end of tomorrow night is when the pitch submission will close. So if you have a business idea or you've been in business for at least a year, submit your idea and you'll be able to get, I don't remember the prize for the pitch competition. I don't think we finalized it with Bloomaho as yet, but there will be a cash prize, there will be mentorship, there will be other prizes as well. And then of course we have a great lineup. It's a 2-day conference. So we have a session on day 1, pitch competition, networking event. And I was saying the networking event is a great opportunity to find businesses to invest in, right? So I was making this point yesterday that persons asked me, for example, how we get private equity opportunities. I met the company that I did my first private equity transaction with. I met them at a conference, met the person at a conference, spoke to them about their business. A month later, I made a a couple $1 million investment in the company. And so that was my first private equity investment. I met the person at a conference, right? So there's that as well. Then on day 2, we're talking about things like leadership, coaching and mentorship, content creation. I'll be speaking on using your business as a vehicle for investment, a very powerful thing. And on that note, LGI may actually be looking to raise capital sometime in the near future. It's something that we're seriously looking at right now. Talk about selling, talk about power of recurring revenue. Investing for the long term is going to be spoken about by David Mullings from Blue Moho Capital, who is our title sponsor. And then we have our keynote speakers who will be talking about some key things to look for to drive success in your business. We have one virtual presentation scheduled, but I have a feeling we will have more. And so tickets are here. So these are the regular prices. We have a 20% discount offer out now until the end of the month. So all of these are on 20% off right now. So you can take advantage of those prices until March 31st. And then, you know, it's gonna be, if you've attended our previous conferences, you know that we don't shortchange you, right? So you're gonna feel like you got more than what you paid for. All right. Cannot ignore the extra noise around Amazon shipping to Jamaica. Well, we're gonna talk about that next week. Put if it's delisted at the value of the shares at that point. Well, if it's delisted, then you have to find a way to get your shares sold otherwise, right? I don't remember. I think David Rose told me what happens there, but I don't remember. Who are you talking to, Sean? Let me know. What are you talking about, Dalton? I don't know what you guys are referring to. So you are not encouraging drip your TransJamaican dividends. Well, so put it this way, Shells. I believe in investing in yourself to be able to increase your earning potential, right? So you can drip in TransJamaica, sure. But an investment in an event like what we put on, I can't speak for other conferences, right? Because I have seen conferences where they either try to inspire you, try to tell some really nice stories, and that's it. We've never been about that. Even our first online conference, which was virtual, we literally taught persons how to practically make money with investing. And that's what we've always been about, right? Even this live video that I'm doing now, my focus is always to teach persons something that they never knew before and that they can walk away taking some action with. So if you are able to invest in a ticket to a conference, that can lead to opportunities for you, that can lead to business partners, lead to investment opportunities, lead to you maybe pitching and winning capital that will help you to grow your business, that the opportunity cost of that is greater than you just pretty much reinvesting your dividends. So it always is about opportunity cost, right? So you have to think about that as well. So, and this is for the persons who are trying to wait, right? If you can leave your dividends and still come to the conference, sure. No, Carol. So the conference is separate. So now challenge community members get a discount. You actually get the biggest discount. So the challenge community members get 30% off. So I believe that email was sent to the challenge community members. You should have gotten that. General community members get 20% off. And all of our partners like Kalila's community, etc. And we'll have some other partners in the short term. They get 20%, but our coaching clients, our challenge community members get 30% off. All right. David Rose not doing any presentations at the conference? No. Sign up for the community, sent me a direct message. Let me check. All right, I see your message, sir. Chef, leave your phone number with me as well, and I'll give you a call tomorrow. All right. All right. I believe people are mostly short-term investors. Sticking with something long-term is necessary for it to succeed. That's kind of true, Foster. Kind of true, not fully true. Well, so Orville, that's a part of what. So let me show you. There are 3 partners right now that we met at our 2023 conference, right? So I believe, and I wish you didn't make this comment when I'm about to end the stream, because I'm trying to keep it under hour. But if I hope everybody understands that the absolute best way one sec, guys. I hope you understand that the best way to build wealth, stocks are an excellent opportunity. But I want everybody here to understand, and there are 140 persons here. I want you to understand and appreciate that the best way to build wealth is starting and running your own business. Now, you can build wealth through stocks, and that's certainly what we teach people how to do. But I want you to appreciate something. When you invest in a company, when that company is at a point to list, that CEO, that founder, that large shareholder, the point of them listing, wealth is created for them, right? They might have been rich before. Wealth is created for them, right? Look at a company that has start a business, the company list, you have to multiply shares to make it available to the market, right? So instantly the founder becomes a billionaire, right? And that stays as a part of his net worth. They can now take loans against those shares. They can expand their businesses with the capital that they get from those shares. And so I want you to appreciate that entrepreneurship is the absolute best way to build wealth. Because when you invest, we're here talking about TransJamaica, that's a business. So business is actually like the best vehicle there is, right? So if you had to choose, if you said to me, Jermaine, I have an absolute great business idea, or I want to invest in stocks, first I would tell you it's not either or, it's both. But if you absolutely have to choose, if that business idea is solid, then go for it, right? Because the most I've ever made from stocks still does not trump the most profitable month I've had in business. The most revenue I've generated from business in any one month is probably like $4 million, or maybe close to 5. I don't remember the amount right now. But I've never made that much money from any one trade. Now I've made more than that, over time from maybe different stocks. But my company has generated a good amount of wealth for me. Our company has done, my first company, I won't mention what LGI is doing right now, but my first company did over 100 million in sales, right? So like, a business is a great way to build wealth. Sorry for that 4-minute rant there, but I hope you guys understand that. So that's why the conference is so powerful, right? All right, so lots of person who buy stock keep long term doesn't always benefit. Oh, I agree with you, absolutely. I agree with you, absolutely. Invest in yourself for the biggest return. Exactly, right? So that's why I say to persons, when you invest in the challenge, when you invest in increasing your knowledge, in understanding how to invest, in understanding how the market works, that investment of $50 per month that you're spending, and any one of my challenge members here can say it in the chat if you're here, what you're learning how to do. Don't look at how much you're spending, look at how much you're able to make in multiples of that if you're able to apply what you learn, right? So I mean, you have to be able to see where the real investment lies, right? I tried a private equity thing, and that matter is now in court to get back my money. Well, I mean, so the way that I do business, right, is different. Like, everything has to have an ironclad agreement, and like, I'm sorry that happened to you, Orville. That is a risk, certainly. Due diligence is important. I'm hoping that you had an agreement in place when you handed over your money. And I will say that if you have funds to invest, send me a message and let me know, because I'll certainly be looking to raise funds for LGI in the near future. All right, everyone. Hopefully you got some value from this video here, and it is late, so I'll take my leave here. Please do like the video. I noticed Raquel asked it once and she never asked it again. Raquel, you only did it once, right? Some persons have said to me that they fall asleep watching my videos because it's so late. I apologize if you fell asleep. But I'll see you guys again tomorrow in the community for our meetup. Take care, and see you at the conference as well. So I'll see you soon.
Learning is the key to successful investing. And who doesn't want to invest in some way?
Here at L.E.A.R.N Grow Invest, we focus on financial education, all with the aim of sharing our knowledge on personal finance, investing, and building wealth. We do this on the foundation of our faith in God.
If a more holistic approach is what you need, check out our Grow Faith-based financial coaching program.
Find out more about us at learngrowinvestclub.com
and follow us on all social media platforms at L.E.A.R.N Grow Invest.